Welcome to the show where stories unfold.
Let's go.
People doing big things, breaking the mold. They're changing the game, making waves every day.
Big move.
Shining bright with the work that is right.
Shine on.
This is Breaking the Silence with Nikki Nicole.
Nikki Nicole in the building.
Unleash your inner voice and make some
Turn
noise.
up. Welcome to the Breaking the Silence Podcast with Author Nikki Nicole. Please make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Tell your cousin, tell your friend, tell your neighbor to come over here and break the silence with Author Nikki Nicole. Welcome to another powerful episode. Sit back and relax. Enjoy the conversation. Welcome back to another episode of Breaking the Silence. I'm your host, Author Nikki Nicole. And y'all, I'm excited about this episode. It took a while for me to get here. But we're here. We made it happen. But this is the finale of the new Motherhood Series. Holy shit, I'm doing it again. And today, I have a special guest with me that's no stranger to the platform. She's been on the platform over and over and over and over and over again. But my sis Shera Renee is going to join me today as we talk about how our parents raised us and how their parents raised them versus how we were raised. Because, everything's different. But to all the mothers out there, this is a place for you if you feel like you was unheard, unseen. And it's also served a purpose for me to talk about motherhood on my journey. So I hope that you will enjoy this episode as we go back into time. So after countdown, please welcome my sister back to the platform again.
I was gonna say something, but I was like, nah, I'm just gonna smile because I'm always starting trouble. That's what you say. So, hey y'all,
That's
I'm
why
back.
that's why I just sat there. I was waiting for her to say something because she always got something to say.
I ain't come through the ceiling yet, but maybe next year. It's getting there. It's getting there.
Girl, you a mess. You still got to say something. So let's open up this conversation about motherhood, man. Listen,
Ooh,
this
child.
series has been a series. You hear me?
Yeah, I've thoroughly enjoyed it, to be honest. I mean, I get to watch you do it in live time, and then I get to listen to the experiences that you've had, when I wasn't around for the first two. So it's been very interesting to hear all the stuff you have been through, you've had to use and utilize, especially them cloth diapers, girl. I'm still on that one. Some of the stuff I've used too, but the other stuff, like I said, them cloth diapers, I don't know. I don't know how you did it, but I'm glad you did do it because the way that this world is looking, we might have to go back to the old, okay?
Okay.
So
Okay.
you are well prepared.
Okay. But see, look, my mom came from that era though. So, I got an old school mom. She used cloth diapers, on us. They didn't have Pampers.
Right.
So I'm glad she kind of taught me some of those things because even down to boiling the water on the stove to sterilize it and then sterilizing the bottles. But they didn't have plastic bottles back then. We had
The glass bottle.
glass.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Glass. So at the end of the day, so much has changed, but I'm glad that my mom gave me that survival mode. Because what if all this stuff go away? Then what?
Listen, I remember when my oldest, who was 16, he was a baby. You ain't have all of these options. You had Johnson Johnson, or as Medea would say, Johnson Johnson, or you had Baby Magic. That's it. Okay. Now you got Johnson Johnson, Baby Magic, Aveeno, Aquaphor. Eucerin. Like, girl, I listen,
Okay.
I already struggle with making decisions. Now y'all just gonna put me in an environment where it's gonna take me longer. Like now I gotta research what this one say, the reviews and all of it. Come on now. Come on
But look,
here.
Johnson used to be number one. Now Johnson has so many lawsuits and all kind of things. You can't,
Right.
people getting cancer.
Everybody give you the C word. Like at this point, you can eat whatever. That gonna give you the C word. Using powder. Now you can't even use the
Use
baby
powder.
powder. You yeah.
And powder used to go in the bottoms. You used to put the powder everywhere, all on the chest, and it's supposed to stop what chafing.
Listen, uh, okay, this has nothing to do with motherhood per se, but my grandmother, okay, used to have the dusting powder, okay, because when you a lady, you know, my grandmother was a lady, like Claire Huxtable style. She used to put the talcum powder. Okay, so let me give y'all a visual.
Yep,
So it's like a
yep.
little thing. It's a little thing that's round like this, right? And then you open the top, and then
Mhm.
it's like this little
The thing you
dusty
take
thing,
out.
like a
Yeah.
powder. And she used to put the powder in her private areas. So when you sweat or whatever the case may be, everything's smelling good. Now
Hmm.
you can't even use no type of powder. People scared.
My mama had one of them. I know exactly what you're talking about because it was like a container, and in that container it had that Lord, it's like a sponge or something.
It looked
And
like a little
yeah,
dusty, like a
yeah,
fuzzy, like a this.
and you take it out and my mom was like that too, girl. My mom,
Don't put it too close to your face because you're gonna choke because it holds a lot. Now it don't look like it got a lot on there. Don't double dip. Once it's in there, just take it out and do what you gotta do. Don't open it and then pull it out and then put it back. Oh no, you asking for trouble. You you powder everywhere. Don't make a mess on them vanities, okay?
Ooh.
Child, listen.
But my mom had one of them. My mom had one of them, so I
That
know
smells so
exactly what you're
good
talking
and they
about.
last so
Oh
long.
my
Like
god, I think she still got one.
now
Cause it's
everything
like a
just
little
watered
box.
down.
She got a little box. I think now they got them in like a little box, but you have to pay so much money for them now. Like Belks, like go to places like Belks, and you can find it.
Avon, get that good Avon. That skin so soft, and them Avon ladies, that's where they used to get them from.
Mm-hmm.
hmm
Mm-hmm.
And them old fashioned perfume stores.
But man, so you done took me way back. I'm gonna have to talk to my mom about that after this episode. My mom,
Ask her, call her, and say like, "Ma, you still got dusting powder?" They don't. Do they call what they used to call it? Talcum powder? No, not
I
talcum
don't
powder.
know.
Whatever. Yeah, ask her. Yeah, ask her what they called it, because
Mhm.
now they call it dusting powder. Because this one of the creators that I follow on TikTok, her name is Stormy, and she has her brand that I love. And now she's using that. She's bringing it back, and she has the dusting powders in her brand. So it's really good. It's really really
Wow.
good.
See how we can get on here, y'all. We be all off subject.
Yeah, we
We-
gonna come back. That's what we do. We like a boomerang. We go far, but then we come right back. We professionals.
oh,
That's what we do. We professionals.
ooh, oh Lord. So what has changed for you though, as motherhood versus your
Um,
mama and grandma and them versus what they told you to do?
technology is a big thing because you and I was talking before about these apps. It's ridiculous. Now I see that there's these apps you can download and you can actually listen to the baby's heartbeat from your phone, your smartphone, when you had to go to the doctor. I know when I was pregnant with my oldest, I didn't know what he was gender wise until I was about 22 to 24
Mm-hmm.
weeks.
Mm-hmm.
When I had my youngest, I found out as early as 10 weeks, and that was through blood. That wasn't through no ultrasound. So when they, 22 to 24 weeks, they do an anatomy ultrasound where they go through the whole body parts to see what if it's a girl or a boy.
That's
Now
crazy.
they do something with the blood and they can determine based off your blood if you're having a girl or a boy. And then the anatomy will confirm whatever. But I was blown away by that. I was like, 10 weeks, that's what's up. Cause I can't
Mm-hmm.
I can't hold it. I gotta know now. I don't see how people can figure out what they gotta wait to figure out what they have, and I need to know what colors I'm getting. What I
Look,
can't.
I had to wait longer than that with my two. I was
Yeah,
almost about
no.
to have my
Yeah,
kids
no.
before I found out.
I can't do that. I can't do that.
So we bought
I'm
yellow.
too
That's the
nosy.
thing.
Oh
You
yeah,
buy
that's
yellow.
neutral. Yellows, whites. Yeah, I'm too nosy. I need to know.
That don't make no
Need to
sense.
know.
That don't make no sense. But see, with Nicholas, I knew less. With Monty, I knew a little bit more. Each time it got better.
It did.
This
Yeah.
time, I didn't go through the experience of that this time around, but I'm still learning a lot of different things because man, Gabby gonna be blessed through this whole process because I'm trying to tell you, I'm
My
like a
girl.
kid in the candy store when I go to
Mm.
Walmart. Look, let me tell y'all a quick story about her. So I tell her I'm gonna get Gabby a diaper genie, right? Back in the day, I had a diaper genie for Nicholas and Monty, but it wasn't as fancy as the ones they got now, y'all. Oh my god! So I told her I was gonna get one. She talking about, girl, why don't you go and get you some scented trash bags from the dollar store and put it
Okay.
in a can? What you getting that diaper genie for?
Okay. They didn't even have scented garbage bags for the diapers. They didn't even have diaper bags like that. Like you just had to throw it in the trash. Okay, so I was blown off that. Okay, that's something different because I did the whole diaper genie thing with my oldest, and once I used it a couple of times, I'm like, that's it. First of all, you got to buy special can
Yep.
liners and all
Now,
this other extras. Who got time for that at 3 o'clock in the morning? Like, I'm trying to change this diaper and go back to bed. Like, I don't got time to be playing with
yeah,
no diaper genie.
yeah, you right, you right, you
Mm-mm.
right. I didn't get
Mm-mm.
it. Long story short, y'all didn't get it. I said, you know what? It'll be all right. I ain't gonna get it.
Listen, when you have your first, it's like you gotta have everything that's out. I want the diaper genie. I want this, the great Graco, the little Graco stroller with the car
Hmm.
seat and all that stuff. By the time you hit child 2 and 3,
Look, after 24 years, I can live a little bit.
yeah, go ahead, enjoy
Let
your
me live.
life.
Let me live a little bit,
Go
cause
ahead,
they
enjoy
didn't
your life.
have all this technology out then. They got cameras now. Like back then, they had the cameras that you put in the room. They didn't have cameras. They had the walkie-talkie type thing where
Yeah,
you can
you had
only
to.
hear.
Yeah,
Girl, they got
and it
cameras
had
now.
so much static, you didn't know if it was the baby or the walkie talkie. Like you had to really like, child, if the baby didn't cry, you wouldn't know if that was the baby or the walkie-talkie. Them things, but we got them because we wanted to know. We wanted to make sure they had the big one and then the little one. You put the big one in the room
In
with
the
the
room
baby, and
with the
you
baby.
carry the little one. Child, I had that with my oldest. Now, see, I ain't even had that. I was just like, look, I'm gonna hear him cry.
Look,
If I'm gonna hear him.
you'll hear Gabby. So I mean,
Oh yeah, you can hear
I
her outside. You
look.
don't even need no. That's a waste of money for you to get a walkie talkie.
Look, I want the camera though. I want to be able to look. I want to, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, I do get that part because of with everything like with SIDS and different things like
Mm-hmm.
that. You want to make sure that they aren't turned a certain way, especially with these babies now. They lifting their heads up at 2 weeks and doing all kind of stuff. Like they on some old new generations. I don't know what is going
Okay.
on. We had to wait
Okay.
6 to 8 months for like milestones, and now they hitting them within the
Okay.
first months that they born. Like what
Hmm.
is going on?
What we doing? Cause like Gabby, man, listen, Gabby came here ready. If you ask me,
She was teething in like 2 months.
had her holding her head up at days old.
Mm-mm.
So these kids are really advanced now, and Gabby just moving right along, right along, right along. She learned that walk in some seconds.
I love it. I love that for her. Tearing the house down. That's
Down.
what I'm talking about.
This is your fault.
Listen, my girl had to get around. She needed a car. She had to drive like a TT. She can't be, she can't be just sitting idle on your lap. No, she got to get
I
down.
ain't lying though. That saved my life though, cause now I can put in that walk and let
See?
her go about her business. Only thing about it, I gotta watch her now because she really terrorizing. Gotta block everything off like it's a
Yeah,
crime
no,
scene now.
yeah, that's your
Gotta
fault.
rope it
Cause
off and stuff.
and you got all this fancy smancy stuff, and she be like, ooh and ah. So now she got to go over there and see what it's about. That's your fault. You should have been regular.
Look, I'm too old to be chasing a baby. I'm too old. I realized that. That's what that told me with her being in
I
that
wasn't
walker. That
chasing mine at 23, so I ain't chasing them now at 39. I'm not doing that. That's why I had your brother, so he could go chase you around. Cause I'm not doing it.
look,
Like,
Look, what you think about them leashes they be using for them kids? I don't like them leashes.
I did listen. I'm a fan. I tell you that. I told you that before. I'm a fan. I will use anything to gather you together real quick because, baby, what we not finna do. You not- Now, I didn't have the one that I didn't like the string.
Right.
Like and they have the baby in the thing, and I had the one with the arm. So then that way he was a little independent, and it looked like he was walking with me, holding his hand. And just in case, because they be snatching, grab that little
Mm-hmm.
cord real quick and yank it back. But that other, some of them look a little too.
Like doggish to me, like it's a
Yeah,
dog you
I
walking.
don't like that. But I am a fan of the one where you put the baby in too, and you carry them. But I had some big boys, so I wasn't
Mm.
carrying them in no
Well,
harness.
I used the harness because I had to. Like when Gabby got like maybe what 2 3 months, I was wearing that harness because she wouldn't let me do nothing. So I had to.
That's because she's spoiled.
She riding y'all. She
She's
riding.
spoiled.
I ain't lying.
She's
She
been riding
riding.
since day one, y'all. I ain't even
I
gonna
ain't
lie. I'm not gonna
lying.
hold you.
I'm gonna hold you. Yeah, she
I ain't
riding.
gonna hold you. She riding.
So I had to use it. That was my first time using that though. I've never used that with Nichols Amani ever. But they wasn't that attached either. Like they like Gabby be like
Yeah, it
want me.
definitely depends on the kid. Cause Christian, I could leave him in the room and he could be watching TV for hours. He won't move. He's like that still to this day. He will not move. If he finds something interesting, baby, all you need to do is give him some food in his phone. You don't have to worry about him for days. But that little one, oh,
No, do my do
sleep
not too much. I'm not
sleep
good
with
now.
one eye open because
Don't do him like that.
that one, he got so much energy and he's so inquisitive. Like he got to figure out what does this do and what does that, jumping around and flipping, and man, it depends on the kid.
Go one day I said, sis, that's not it. He the only one there. She was like, yeah.
Only
I was
one in the
like,
house.
he sound like a whole house full of kids.
Only one in the house. Loud, just loud.
But look, I do find myself going back in the time though sometimes with the things that my mom did show me with Nicholas because like the castor oil on the feet and the
Hmm.
soft spot to get all that infection out. That works.
Never knew that. Never did that.
It works. It really works. I had to do that when my ear got the flu that time. I took that castor oil, rubbed it on his feet, rubbed on that soft spot. He was good in the next 24 hours. He was good.
See, for me, my grandmother was the one that kind of did like the child rearing because my mom was a single mom, so she worked a lot. So
Mm,
she did all the remedies, and she would love to just, every time she had like a grandbaby, she would love to just wash their hair, and that was so big. Bath time was so important to her because she would love to wash their hair, moisturize their hair, and all this other stuff. And by the time I started having kids, she wasn't there. So my
mm.
mom looking at me like, well, you you on your own, sis, because these your babies. Like I ain't fixing, I ain't fixing to raise no babies. Now when they old enough to go to the bathroom and they potty train, I'll watch them. But baby wise, you on your own. So I ain't really have all of those things to utilize when I was raising my kids. But I do remember watching my niece and my nephew with my grandmother, the Cairo syrup to get them to kind of
Mm,
drink water and
mhm,
different things like that, the glass bottles, and warming them up on the stove and not the microwave, child, because
mm.
that was a whole big thing, and testing it out before you give it
That
to
was a
them.
mhm.
Now we got bottle warmers. We could just sit right on the bed. Everything now is so convenient for us to be
Child.
lazy. It's not even funny. Like now we can order medicine from the side of our beds. We don't even
Mm,
have to go physically to the
nope.
store. We could do televisits on the phone. We don't have to physically go to the doctor unless they have to have a well child visit, which they're shots, and
Mhm.
like it's really
Look,
really different.
I got that white warmer, right? Ask me how many times we use that white
That's
warmer, son.
another one. The wipe warmers, the diaper genie, even the bottle warmers. I think it's just unnecessary spending because when are you ever going to sit there and wait for that bottle to
It
get
don't take
warm. By the
long,
time you wait for the bottle warmer to get warm, you already could have nuked it in the microwave.
but it don't take that long though. It gets too hot. Actually, that's why we bought that bottle warmer, and it got too hot. So we had to go back to what we was doing, like with the microwave, because it got too hot. It'll warm up fast, like real
I
fast.
saw this lady on TikTok. She actually boiled her water,
Mm-hmm.
made the bottles with the boiling hot water,
Mm-hmm.
and then just sat them to the side.
Yeah, no, that's gonna spoil.
That's a lot because
That's gonna
the
spoil.
boiling hot water,
I
you
used to
know,
boil the hot water, put the bottle in the hot water,
right?
and,
Yeah,
and let it warm
yeah, yeah,
that way, and then check it or
yeah.
whatever the case may be. But and I used to boil the water. Now I even do that now though. If Gabby runs out of her sterilized water and I need a rat then, I boil the water and use the water to make her bottles. But I ain't gonna make them and then put them away. That's gonna spoil.
Hmm.
You got to let that water cool down. That's what my mama said. You got to let that water cool down
Yeah.
and then put it in the jugs or whatever the case may be, and then make your bottles.
Hmm.
But see, back then though, my mom used to have me get this quart jug, and I would make the milk for like the day, and
Yeah,
you just
you
pour
told
the
me
milk.
that. I feel like that's a game changer. That's
Hmm.
that's definitely a game changer. Now, see me, I didn't um feed my son, the oldest. I didn't feed him the old school way, which is from the earth, from us. I didn't feed
Hmm.
him that way, so I use formula, and that even to me was a game changer. The ready to feed,
Oh,
okay, because
do
before
you
you had to
no
use the powder, and then
no
you put the water
before
and
the
mix it
powder?
up. Now they got ready to feed, and you could just pour it in, and it's ready to go.
Do you know they had milk before the powder that was kind of, it wasn't ready to feed, but it was in the can. You remember that WIC used to give you the can of milks, not the. When I say can, y'all, I'm not talking about the powder cans. I'm
It
talking
looked
about
like canned
look like
milk, like you used to
condensed
bake
milk.
with.
Yeah,
Yeah. Hmm.
that can. You had them kind of cans, and you had to mix that with water
Hmm.
to make your milk. I started
Hmm.
there.
Hmm.
Then went to did Monty have powder? I think Monty might have had powder. I don't think
Yeah.
Monty made it to the ready to feed. I didn't see the ready to feed until Meyer came along.
Oh. Yeah, I
So,
had ready to feed with Christian. I had the powder, the can with Christian, and then the sear I had the powder because the
mm,
ready to feeds was starting to get scarce,
mhm.
and they was feeling like you use that because with the powder you're using 4 scoops as opposed to 4 whole ounces, and then you're adding water, so you're kind of cutting it. It's
Yeah,
kind of like
that
going
ready
from
use go
whole
fast,
milk. Ready to feed is like whole milk, and the powder is like 1%. Like that's how the difference is in the thickness and the consistency.
but it go fast though. It go
It
real fast.
does. It
That ready to
does.
feed.
So I would use the ready to
Mhm.
feed like if I was going out for the day, like
Traveling.
to church or something like that. And then the
Hmm.
powders would be like for home, and if he was going away for the weekend, something like that. Hmm.
Hmm. But you know what though? I got the ready to feed one time. We couldn't do that with Gabby. Who? That ready to feed went so fast. That girl Grady.
That's because she every listen, let me tell y'all something. Every time she cried, "You hungry? You hungry, baby? That's why my girl's so juicy because always giving this girl a bottle. Like I'm trying to tell. I said, give her some water. Oh no, she hungry. Okay. Then she'll tell me, Gabby only got 1 can of milk. I know. I'm surprised she still got one. Like, you
Look, look.
always giving that girl a bottle.
Listen, now she want food. She really don't be want the food with them
Oh
bottles
yeah,
no
she's a
more.
big girl now. She don't do that. Milk is for babies. We
She
don't do
want to
that.
sit down and eat now. She want to eat like we eat.
Mhm.
What you think this
Hot
is,
chair
girl?
time. It's hot chair time. Hmm.
Child, let me tell you something. I've learned a lot this time around. Now with Nicholas and Monty, I didn't taste the baby food because I always thought, that's nasty.
Yeah, I'm not doing it.
I've tasted with
I
Gabby.
don't care how many kids I'm not doing it. I could tell if it's nasty based off your face. That's all I need.
It don't be bad though.
That's what's up. I'm happy for you. Mhm.
Just like somebody told me talk about, have you ever tasted breast milk? I said absolutely. I have.
Really?
Hmm. I want to know what's going on in her body.
Oh, you better than me.
It's
But you
yours.
know what? They said it's yeah, I don't care. They said it's really good for you
It's
for
sweet.
anybody, especially if you're sick and you're
Sick.
fighting like an illness or whatever. It's good for anybody because I saw this lady again on TikTok. Her husband was sick and she put a little milk in his
Mm-hmm.
drink. I guess it was a coffee or a tea or something like that. And he was fine after that. I was like, wow. But see,
Because
with that, you got to make sure you eat right too. So it's one thing to anybody can make breast milk, but for it to be good, you
mm-hmm.
have to watch what you eat and what you put in your body because that makes the difference.
When Jayla and Cassie used to get sick, when they were sick, and me mom was pumping. She pumped and she breastfed them. And when they got
That's how I
sick,
did it.
we had it like in the freezer. We would give them some of that breast milk, and they would get better. So that is
Wow.
true. That's true. Breast milk
Well,
is
that's
better.
different too because back in the day, I think they were more adamant about doing
Mm-hmm.
that because, well, for one, who was making formula? For two, as many kids as our ancestors were
Okay.
having, ain't nobody got time to be buying formula when I could just, squeeze it out real quick. And now, again, everything has been made for us to be so lazy to the point where now, here, you can just take this bottle. Now we not staying home with the kids. You gotta go to daycare. So I can't be, you gotta do something quick, fast to get the job
Mm-hmm.
done. So,
Mm-hmm.
that's something that has changed a lot too. But we're trying to bring it back. Everybody's trying to implement, more breastfeeding, more awareness of doing things the old school way, remedies, holistic instead of medicines and different things like that. The old school didn't really believe in all them vaccinations. Now we got to vaccinate for every little thing. And now they're making it mandatory for the kids to even get flu shots.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have to
Mm-hmm.
do all of that. All we had to do was worry about chicken pox and measles.
Measles. And once
That's
you
it.
had them one time, you was good.
That's it. Now you got all kind of stuff that you got to get. So it's different. It's really different.
Well, I'm gonna tell you this time around, I'm going back to old ways of doing things because even now, I wish I had a broom straw when she have
You
hiccups.
keep saying that. I don't. I've never heard that in my life.
You put that right there in their head right there. Just let it sit there. Them hiccups go just like that.
So what if they don't have no hair?
You can just sit in their hair. They got some hair.
So we're gonna put a headband and then stick it in the headband,
Yeah.
pretty much. And a broom straw is for hiccups to remove
Hiccups.
the hiccups.
It works. My
I
aunt
wonder if that
used
work
to
on adults.
I don't know now. I ain't never tried it myself. I don't have no more hiccups. I ain't growing no more, so I ain't got no I ain't got no hiccups no more. I ain't had hiccups in a minute. But my aunt Weeze I always talk to you about, she used to talk the fire out of kids.
What?
Talk the fire. Like if a kid got burned or something, she would talk the fire out of the
I
kid.
have never heard that in my life.
I listen, if I didn't see it with my own two eyes, I would have believed it. I would have believed it. But she would get the kid, she would hold the kid, and she would be talking. She would talk or whatever. Better. Them old people had remedies and they did certain things that just healed the
You know
kids.
what it was too? I think it was just love. It was something about the older generation. Everybody had a sense of community.
Mm-hmm.
And if I couldn't do it, I knew my neighbor could do it, or an auntie, or
Mm-hmm.
there wasn't like godmothers and all this other stuff back in the day. It was
Mm-hmm.
everybody was your auntie, everybody
Mm-hmm.
was your uncle, because we all worked together
Yep.
for the community, for the kids. And I think people genuinely had a love for their community. And now it's like everybody is for
For
themselves,
themselves.
like they don't care about your kid, my kid, or whatever the case may be. It's just everybody's so selfish. And you can tell there's no love nowhere, even with these daycares. Like a lot of people just wanting jobs because they need employment, not because they
Mm-hmm.
love what they do.
Mm-hmm.
It
Mm-hmm.
used to be them old ladies in the back in the day. There used to be one old lady in every neighborhood that watched everybody's kids while their mother went to work.
My mama. My mama.
Now You can't find that. You can't find that. You got some young girl who probably got years of babysitting because she been babysitting since she was 13, but
Mm-hmm.
she don't got no papers, but she got experience. And it's like, okay, she on the phone half the time. She not really watching the kid or bonding with the kid. Big mama actually did stuff with the kids and played
Taught them
games with them,
things,
made them feel loved and gave them good food. Now they give the kids, we spend so much money on daycare for
child.
my child to get oodles and noodles. Are you kidding me?
Hmm. When they can get grants and stuff too, so I don't really understand why it's so high.
Breakfast for the daycares, they give them dry cereal, a little bowl of cereal and milk. Big mama used to make them grits and
Great.
eggs and all kind. Child,
You done said a mouthful about that, paying $1,000 for because they're newborn a week.
a week,
A week.
a week.
Times is I mean, times has changed so much. Like you said, you had community, but see, the parents are different too. The parents are not the parents
Yeah,
that we
yeah,
are. So you gotta look at it like that. They get mad and offended when you say something to their kid, or their kid can't do no wrong, or whatever the case may be. Can't be that way. I had the church, I had school and home, and the neighborhood too. If I did wrong, they told me right then, and they checked me, and then they told my mama.
yeah.
I got it twice. But now you can't hardly say none of these kids because the parents just as bad.
I remember one time I was on a bus. I'm gonna tell you the story real quick. I was on a bus and we were going somewhere. I think we was going to like a college fair or something. And I'm a teenager, so I'm cute or whatever. That's back when I was fine, before I had kids, like BC, before kids, right? Before children. And this boy I was talking to or whatever, we were sitting next to each other on the bus. So I put my head on his shoulder and we laughing and we kicking, like we vibing the music. Cause back in the day, they didn't have AirPods where you could just be here and then the next person could be down the row and y'all could listen to the same thing. Like we had things like this where you had to get close so you can hear what was going on because you shared the same thing. So I'm leaning like this so I can hear what's going on. She gonna go and tell my mom, oh, your daughter was being fresh on the trip. She was laid up with this boy and yada yada yada. To this
Not
day,
laid up.
I don't like that lady. To this day. Every time she look at me, I roll my eyes because I'm like, girl, I wasn't even trying to take it there. If I was trying to take it there, you think I would have took it there in broad daylight? Like, come on here, sis. But that just go to show you, like, even when your mama not there,
Somebody
somebody
watching.
mama is there. You somebody watching you. So
Hmm.
back then we had that. Like even if you wasn't doing nothing, but it looked like you was doing something, your mama gonna know. Ain't no hiding. Now these parents don't know what's going on with their kids
No.
because everything is so personalized. If they see
Hmm.
somebody child doing something, oh that ain't my kid. I'm mind my business.
Hmm.
You
Hmm.
don't know what you could be saving that kid from doing or what you could be saving that kid from allowing to happen to them.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
we don't say nothing.
Nothing. The village got to come back, man, but I don't think it's coming back because the generations
No.
keep changing. They keep getting worse.
And you know why? We don't have any more family reunions.
That well, I mean, they still have family reunions, but they're not. I'm putting it like this: not as organized and well put together, and as they were when our ancestors did it. Because when my grandfather would have gatherings, my grandma would have gatherings. You knew who everybody was. They made sure you knew that that was your cousin. This is your cousin. That was your cousin. And now they just don't take the time like they used to put nothing together. It's the young heads that's trying to put it together. They don't know what they're doing. That's it.
Or they don't know their family.
They don't know their family. Exactly. They don't know each other.
You mess around and don't do that because you mess around and be on the internet thinking you found love or you would love after lockup because y'all know I love reality TV. And
Oh
that's your
Lord.
whole cousin and you
Whole
won't
cousin.
know. And
So
y'all don't have no family reunion until you bring them to the house and your mother be like, oh, who's your family? Because that's the first thing they say. Who's your family? Because they want to know, are you with the shenanigans or are you coming from good stock? Right. So
right.
who's your family? And you mess around and say somebody from this your married name, But you say something from the maiden name, so they be like, oh, we know we connected to the Joneses. Where they from? Uh, and you keep going down the line and everything clicking, clicking, click. Yeah,
Mm.
mm-mm.
Baby,
Then
that's your cousin.
then what you gonna do? You gonna still keep going?
Ah, you crazy. But that's how I be though. Honestly, that's how I be. But you know what? I just think we just need to bring the village back. I don't care what people say. The village need to come back because there's too much going on in this world. People snatching children, human
Yes.
trafficking. Like it's
Yeah.
just too much. So if you had people like you had back in the day to like watch over your kid, do you know how many kids we can save from
Yeah.
being taken?
Yeah.
Like,
People
let's
don't
be
even like to
real.
talk to kids no more because of the
Mhm,
craziness that's happening. And in a way, social media was a good thing to post your kids because if you see my child, you know that's my
mhm,
child. So you'll know, oh, that's my girl. Let me look out for him. Because, okay,
mhm,
another quick story. There's this girl I used to go to church with. And when I worked at the school, I was a security guard at the school. And I would always see her little niece. And I knew that was her niece because we used to usher together. And I remember growing up with them and then seeing her brother have kids and different things like that. So one day, and I don't ever talk to her, never
mhm,
talk to her like that. I hit her up one day and I said, does your niece go to such and such school? She said, yeah. I said, I just want you to know I go to work every single day and I'm going to keep my eye on her.
mhm,
And she was like, wow. She was like, thank you. And she would always, the little girl would always say hi to me, but she never knew that I knew her and her family. And I would always just make sure she good, make sure she crossed the street,
mhm.
because we need to have that. We need to have somebody watching our backs because we don't know. You
Don't
know what
know.
I'm saying? Especially with well, you can't even say just the girls because even the boys. Like that's why I make sure when my kids come together, I make sure I cook them a meal. I bring some of that, values back to them where we have stuff together as a family. We do movie nights or we'll go out to eat or we'll do something together so
Mhm.
they have something to give back to their kids. Or me and my mom, we used to do this or we used to do that. Because I
Right.
remember Sunday dinners with my grandmother. I remember Thanksgiving, everybody fighting over the mac and cheese and all this other. I remember that. And those are the things that you want to keep going because the generation's going to keep changing. But the memories and the stuff that you do should not.
Right. 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 But see, my mom, she's very sentimental. When I say sentimental, y'all, she is so sentimental. The snowsuit that Nicholas wore, Monty wore it,
I love that about her.
Maya wore it. Now Gabby's getting ready to
I
wear
love that. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
my mom still got my prom dresses.
That's OD.
So she believes in passing down generation to generation. I told mom, I said, nobody, Gabby not wearing my prom dress.
Listen, we ain't even gonna talk about prom, okay? Because
Uh,
prom, baby, we was wearing one color. It was all pastels, and everything was a pastel color. It was either a lavender, a pink. I swear, everybody wore lavender, pink, blue, or canary, or
purple.
beige when I was coming up. Now they look like they going to a wedding. I don't know if they get married or they going to prom. I'm like, yo, these kids is ridiculous.
And they jumping out in these cars, these fancy cars and stuff. I was
Doors
like,
opening from the sides.
oh,
I don't know what my son think he gonna do, but he better start working now because if he think, as you would say, I'm fenced to sit up here and keep up with the Joneses and pay for that, you
child,
won't catch me for one day.
one day. You can
One
imagine how
day,
much them dresses cost.
but
And some of
I
them
ain't
make
mad
that,
at you.
and they customizing them dresses too. Some of them
Yes, and they
customizing.
will never wear it again. You will never
Never,
be that size ever again in
ever,
life.
ever,
I
ever, ever.
wish I was the size I was when I was
No,
16,
I don't wish.
baby.
I don't wish I was that little no more. Golly, I
I
wouldn't have been
wish
skinny
I was that.
bones.
Y'all wouldn't catch me on no podcast. I'll be somewhere in the streets, living my
Being
best life.
being grown, being grown. Y'all, we
And
was
it's
so.
summer too.
See, I gotta get her on out here. See, y'all, we always supposed to be up here. We be like, we come on in the beginning, right? And we be like, we listen, we
Always
only gonna
45
be up here
minutes, baby.
20 minutes,
You
30 minutes.
how we do. 45 minutes.
And now it's
Mm.
almost 40 minutes. It's her fault. It ain't got nothing to do with me. But she called me Pentecostal.
I ain't
Not on this
Pentecostal.
show. I don't call you Pentecostal on this show.
All right, sis, you know what time it is. I'm getting ready to do the countdown. I ain't got to tell you what it is. 'Cause you know what you got to do. You know what you came here for. Do this is your time to shine. All right.
Sure. Hey y'all, this is your favorite Jersey girl, Shera Renee. And as always, you can always find me on Breaking the Silence, okay? Because I stay on here. And you can also catch me on me and Author Nikki Nicole's podcast, the Preparation Podcast, as well. You can also follow me at the Blemished Beauty Podcast. We talk about all things mental health, all things life, love, and relationships. And this season is all about survival, right? It's all about surviving and suicide and domestic violence, all these serious awareness things that's going on right now. So I want to encourage you guys, just to continue to speak up, continue to break your silence, continue to allow people to know about who you are and your story, because the story and the things that you go through is not for you, it's to help somebody else. Just know that y'all the blueprint, and continue to grow through what you go through. And I'll talk to you later.
She said, "Now I'll talk to you later." Well, sis, thanks for always coming and supporting me. Even though every time you come up here, you be showing off. And
I don't know what you're talking about.
y'all, listen, I already deal with this on
I'm
the
just a humble
preparation.
servant for the Lord. I don't
Did
I
she
don't do
say
anything. Listen,
Did she say I'm a humble service for the Lord?
I am. I'm a humble servant for the Lord. I do what the Lord allows me to do.
Let me get her off here, y'all, before she get us in trouble. She gonna get us in trouble, y'all. She gonna get us in trouble. But y'all gonna see her again. I always gotta have her up here for something. Plus, we on the preparation anyway. So y'all gotta make sure y'all stay tuned because we got seasons after seasons after seasons. Ain't going nowhere. We gonna keep talking until y'all get it. So thank y'all for tuning into another amazing episode. As always with my sister. She always come and bring it and talk about something. She got an old soul, y'all. That's probably why we get along so good, because she got that old soul. But thank y'all so much for tuning in to the series finale of Motherhood. This series, man, was so exciting. I ain't gonna lie. It was so exciting for me to be able to go back in the time and talk about things that I've learned from previous motherhood experiences to now, and still learning more things. And when you're older and you're wiser, you do better. It's just that simple. You do better. So to every mom that's listening out there, know that you're not alone. You're doing the best you can. And that is more than enough. I don't care what nobody tells you. Just continue to be you. And guess what? Your mini you will be proud to say that you're their parent. And a huge thank you to my sister, Shera Renee, for joining me and sharing her experiences as well on her journey of motherhood. So I hope that y'all will join me next year for the next series to drop. And if this episode has spoke to you, share it with another mother. Share it with another mother, and don't forget to subscribe and follow and like the Breaking the Silence podcast and the Blemished Beauty podcast, and Shera Renee on Facebook and YouTube, and the Preparation podcast. I got to throw that in too, y'all. So until next time, keep going, keep growing, and keep breaking the silence with me. Later.
Better days Slowly but surely it's a better space that awaits my mind, so I meditate till I levitate, I elevate. When I learn not to hesitate, no more, keep moving forward. Chase my goals and focus more towards it. Hate the lows, but I need those to flourish. Place my growth in front, that's what's important. So I ask myself what inspires me. Breaking out of my shell, feeling yo shot quiet me, and now I'm breaking the silence like I'm Nikki Nicole. Let's go. Promise you gon' see better. Hey, gotta keep going till you see them. Promise you gon' see better. Hey, you gotta keep going till you see them.